How to answer what is your greatest weakness? Interview question. Have you ever been in an interview where everything is going well, and then suddenly the interviewer asks, what is your greatest weakness? For many candidates, this one question feels like a trap. If you answer too honestly, you might sound unqualified. If you give a fake answer, the interviewer may not believe you. And if you say, I don't have any weaknesses, you can sound overconfident or unrealistic. But here is the truth. This question is not designed to destroy your chances. It is designed to test your self-awareness, honesty, maturity, and willingness to improve. In this video, I will show you exactly how to answer what is your greatest weakness in a professional way, what mistakes to avoid, and sample answers you can use in your next job interview. First, let's understand why interviewers ask this question. They are not expecting you to be perfect. In fact, every employer knows that every candidate has weaknesses. What they really want to know is whether you can recognize your own improvement areas. They also want to see whether your weakness will create problems in the job. For example, if you are applying for a customer service role and you say, I struggle to speak with people, that is a serious red flag. If you are applying for an accounting position and you say, I am not good with details, that can damage your chances. So the key is to choose a real weakness, but not one that is directly connected to the most important requirement of the job. The best answer should sound honest but controlled. You should never make your weakness look like a major risk. Instead, show that you have noticed the weakness, you are actively improving it, and it no longer stops you from doing good work. That is the difference between a bad answer and a strong answer. A bad answer only exposes a problem. A strong answer shows growth. A simple formula you can use is this. Mention the weakness, explain the impact, and show what you are doing to improve. That is the three-step method. First, say what the weakness is. Second, explain it briefly in a professional way. Third, explain the action you are taking to improve. This structure keeps your answer clear and safe. For example, instead of saying, my weakness is that I am bad at time management, you can say, one area I have been improving is managing my time when I have multiple tasks at once. In the past, I sometimes spent too much time on one task because I wanted it to be perfect. To improve, I started prioritizing my tasks, setting time limits, and checking deadlines before I begin. This has helped me work more efficiently while still maintaining quality. This answer is much better because it does not make you sound careless. It shows that you understand the issue and you are fixing it. Now let's talk about the biggest mistakes candidates make when answering this question. The first mistake is saying, I do not have any weaknesses. This may sound confident in your mind, but in an interview, it usually sounds arrogant or unaware. Employers want people who can accept feedback and grow. If you say you have no weaknesses, the interviewer may think you are not honest or not coachable. The second mistake is giving a fake weakness, like, I work too hard, or I care too much, or I am a perfectionist. These answers are very common, and interviewers have heard them many times. Sometimes they can work if you explain them properly, but if you just say them in a basic way, they sound rehearsed and fake. You need to give a real example of how you are improving. The third mistake is choosing a weakness that is too serious for the job. For example, do not say, I am not reliable, I often miss deadlines, I get angry with customers, I do not like teamwork, or I struggle to follow instructions. These answers can make the interviewer doubt whether you are ready for the role. Your weakness should be something manageable, not something that makes you look risky. The fourth mistake is giving too much personal information. This is still a professional interview, so you do not need to share emotional or private details. Keep your answer focused on workplace behavior, professional growth, and improvement. The fifth mistake is not explaining how you are improving. If you only say the weakness and stop there, your answer feels incomplete. The most important part of your answer is not the weakness itself. The most important part is what you are doing about it. Now let's build a strong answer step by step. Start with a calm phrase like, one weakness I have been working on is. This sounds much better than saying, my biggest weakness is, because it immediately shows improvement. Then explain the weakness briefly. After that, show the action you are taking. Finally, end with a positive result. Here's a strong sample answer. One weakness I have been working on is that I sometimes spend too much time reviewing my work because I want to make sure everything is accurate. I realize that while quality is important, I also need to balance accuracy with efficiency. To improve, I now use checklists, set time limits for reviewing tasks, and focus first on the most important details. This has helped me complete my work faster while still maintaining a high standard. This answer is professional because it shows self-awareness, responsibility, and improvement. It does not make you sound unqualified. Instead, it makes you sound thoughtful and organized. Another strong answer is about asking for help. You could say, "One weakness I have worked on is that I used to wait too long before asking for help. I wanted to solve problems independently, which can be a good thing, but I realized that waiting too long can sometimes slow down the work. Now, I still try to think through problems on my own first, but if I reach a point where guidance would save time or prevent mistakes, I ask clear and specific questions. This has helped me become more efficient and a better team member." This is a very good answer for many roles because it shows independence but also teamwork. It tells the interviewer that you are not helpless, but you are also not afraid to communicate when needed. For freshers or entry-level candidates, here is a good answer. Since I am still early in my career, one weakness I am working on is building more confidence in professional situations. I know I have the ability to learn and do the work, but sometimes I can be a little quiet when I am new to a team or environment. To improve, I have been practicing communication, preparing before meetings, and pushing myself to ask questions or share ideas when appropriate. I can already see improvement, and I believe more experience will help me become even more confident. This answer is safe for freshers because it does not attack a core job skill. It shows that you are growing, willing to learn, and aware of your development. For customer service roles, you could say, "One weakness I have worked on is not taking difficult customer interactions personally. Earlier, if a customer was upset or impatient, I would sometimes feel affected by their tone. But I have learned that in customer service, the customer is usually frustrated with the situation, not with me personally. Now I stay calm, listen carefully, and focus on solving the problem instead of reacting emotionally. This has helped me handle difficult situations more professionally." This answer works because customer service jobs require patience, emotional control, and problem solving. It also shows that you understand how to deal with pressure. For administrative or office roles, you could say, "One area I have been improving is prioritizing tasks when several things need to be done at the same time. In the past, I sometimes focused too much on completing one task perfectly before moving to the next. I realized that in a busy office environment, it is important to understand urgency and deadlines. Now I make a quick priority list, confirm deadlines when needed, and focus on the most important tasks first. This has helped me stay organized and complete work more efficiently." This is a strong answer because office roles often require multitasking, organization, and time management. The answer shows that you are improving in a practical way. For technical or data-related roles, you can say, "One weakness I have been working on is explaining technical information in a simple way to people who may not have the same background. I can understand the technical details, but I realize that communication is just as important as accuracy. To improve, I practice explaining my work in clear language, using examples, and focusing on what the listener actually needs to know. This has helped me become better at sharing information with team members, managers, or customers." This answer is excellent because many technical candidates struggle with communication. It shows that you are not only focused on technical skills, but also on teamwork and clarity. For leadership or supervisor roles, here is a strong answer. "One weakness I have worked on is learning how to delegate more effectively. Earlier, I sometimes felt responsible for handling too much myself because I wanted to make sure everything was done correctly. But I learned that good leadership also means trusting the team, giving clear instructions, and allowing others to take ownership. Now I focus on assigning tasks based on strengths, setting clear expectations, and following up without micromanaging. This has helped me support the team better and manage work more efficiently." This answer works well for leadership positions because it shows maturity. It also shows that you understand the difference between responsibility and control. Now let's discuss how long your answer should be. Your answer should usually be around 45 to 60 seconds. It should not be too short, because then it may sound incomplete. But it should not be too long either, because you do not want to over-explain your weakness. A good answer is clear, confident, and focused. Here is a simple structure you can memorize. "One weakness I have been working on is weakness." I noticed that brief explanation. To improve, I have been specific action. This has helped me positive result. Let's fill this structure with an example. One weakness I have been working on is public speaking. I noticed that I sometimes felt nervous when speaking in front of groups, even when I knew the information well. To improve, I have been practicing presentations, preparing key points in advance, and volunteering to speak in smaller meetings. This has helped me become more comfortable and confident when sharing ideas. This answer is simple and strong. It does not sound fake. It shows improvement. However, be careful with public speaking as a weakness. If the job requires regular presentations, training, or public speaking, choose a different weakness. Always match your answer to the job. Your weakness should not directly damage your ability to perform the main duties. Here are some safe weakness ideas you can use in interviews. You can say you are working on prioritizing tasks, asking for help earlier, becoming more confident in meetings, delegating better, speaking up more, adjusting to new tools faster, not overchecking details, or explaining complex ideas more simply. These are professional weaknesses, but they can be improved. Now here are some weaknesses you should avoid. Do not say you are lazy, always late, bad with people, careless with details, unable to handle stress, uncomfortable with feedback, or not interested in learning. These answers may sound honest, but they can seriously damage your interview. A powerful interview answer should always protect your image while still being truthful. You are not there to confess every flaw. You are there to show that you understand yourself and that you are improving. Let's look at a final polished answer that works for many jobs. One weakness I have been working on is that I sometimes focus too much on small details, especially when I want the work to be accurate. I realize that while attention to detail is valuable, I also need to manage my time and focus on priorities. To improve, I now set clear deadlines, use checklists, and separate the most important details from the less urgent ones. This has helped me complete tasks more efficiently while still maintaining good quality. This answer is one of the safest because it shows responsibility, quality, and improvement. But remember, do not deliver it like a robot. Practice it in your own words so it sounds natural. Another polished answer is, one weakness I have been improving is speaking up more confidently in group discussions. I used to listen carefully, but sometimes waited too long to share my ideas. I realized that if I have something useful to contribute, I should communicate it clearly. To improve, I now prepare key points before meetings, ask questions when needed, and make an effort to contribute at the right time. This has helped me become more confident and more involved in team discussions. This answer is great if the role values teamwork, communication, and growth. Now let's talk about body language while answering this question. Do not look nervous or embarrassed when you talk about your weakness. Speak calmly and confidently. Keep your tone professional. You should not smile too much as if the question is not serious, but you also should not look scared. The goal is to show that you are comfortable discussing growth. That makes you look mature. Also, never blame other people when explaining your weakness. Do not say, "My weakness is that I get frustrated because my coworkers do not work properly." That sounds negative. Keep the focus on yourself and your improvement. You should also avoid saying, "My weakness is that I care too much." That sounds like you are trying to avoid the question. Instead, be specific. If your issue is overchecking work, say that. If your issue is asking for help too late, say that. Specific answers sound more believable. By the end of your answer, the interviewer should feel 3 things. First, you are honest. Second, your weakness is manageable. And third, you are actively improving. If your answer achieves these 3 things, you have answered the question well. So when an interviewer asks, "What is your greatest weakness?" do not panic. This is your chance to show self-awareness. Choose a real but safe weakness. Explain it briefly. Show what steps you are taking. End with improvement. That is how you turn a difficult interview question into a strong professional answer. If you are preparing for an interview, do not memorize one perfect answer word for word. Instead, understand the formula and practice speaking naturally. The best interview answers sound honest, confident, and personal. Before your interview, choose one weakness that is safe for your role. Prepare your improvement story and practice it out loud. And remember, employers are not looking for perfect people. They are looking for people who can learn, grow, accept feedback, and become better over time.